everybody, it's Dr. Joe, and today I'm going to show you how to use a TENS/EMS unit for ankle pain. So let's get started. Disclaimer alert, disclaimer alert. So for the ankle pain, I'm going to use the TENS EMS unit sent by HealthMate Forever. This is their T24 and this is the one that I'm going to use. If you're interested in purchasing any of their TENS EMS units, you can click on the link up there. So I like using a roll underneath my ankle just so you can have some movement, especially when you're doing the EMS part where you're actually making the muscle contract. You want to be able to have some movement in there. So you can do it flat on the floor, but I like having that roll. It just allows you to get a little bit more movement in there. So with a TENS versus an EMS, or sometimes they call it a PMS, you use different electrodes and you can use different channels. For a TENS, usually the best way to use it is to use 2 channels and 4 electrodes. So each channel has 2 electrodes. So the reason that 4 pads electrodes are the best is because you can kind of encircle the pain area. And when you're using 4 electrodes, you want it to cross. So if my pain was maybe on the top of my foot right here, I would take each channel, and so there would be a pad here, one on the opposite side, and one here, and then one here. So if I had, a channel here and a channel here, then they're talking to each other this way, and it's not really getting the spot in the middle. So you want to make sure that those channels cross. Otherwise, you're not quite getting the benefit of the TENS unit. Also with a TENS, you don't want to get a muscle contraction. TENS stands for Transcutaneous Electrical Nerve Stimulation. The transcutaneous part just means those surface nerves. So this is to calm down the pain, to help increase the circulation, which is really great for ankle pain because if you have some swelling, a lot of times ankles, sprains, strains, things like that get a lot of swelling because it just follows gravity and ends up just hanging out in the foot. So a TENS unit does a great job of getting that increased circulation to get the fluid back out of there and decrease the pain at the same time. So when you're doing that with the 4 electrodes or the 2 channels here, you can make sure, I'm going to say that my pain's right here. Some people might have the pain on the outside of their ankle, on the inside of the ankle, especially if they have sprains or something like that. So you can place them in a couple different places, and I'll show you if you want to get a little bit more specific with the pain area too, like if it was just here. But if your whole ankle is kind of swollen and hurting, everything in there is kind of hurting, I would say maybe do a placement here and here, and then one on each side. Or again, you can kind of cross the area just depending on where you're feeling it the most. So this is one channel together with these electrodes. So what I'm going to do is just cross them over. So I'm going to kind of place it a little bit almost in the arch area and then over on the lateral side up here. The further away the electrodes are, the more just kind of general they get, and the closer you get them together, the more intense the area is. So since it's a small area, sometimes I spread them out a little bit more just so it's not quite as intense in the beginning. And you can easily move these electrodes around as you go. You don't have to, once you have them in one spot, you have to keep it there. So again, as you can see, this one is here and here, and this one's here and here, so they're crossing each other. So with the TENS, you should not have a muscle contraction. If you get the muscle contraction, you're fatiguing out that muscle, and that's not what the TENS is for. That's really what the EMS is for. So with this particular unit, the T24, it's pretty cool because it has the 12 channels, but then it also has where you can do shoulder, neck, back, elbow, hip, ankle, and foot. So if you just want to hit the specific one for the ankle, you can. But if you want to go to the different channels, you can as well. So a lot of times people will say, well, which mode should I use? There's a whole bunch of them. With a TENS, for me, I think it really just matters about your comfort level. TENS is only supposed to really take away the pain and help increase the circulation, and all those settings are going to do that. So you just pick the one that you like the most. Some's kind of a teeny, some's kind of a massage, some rub up and then go down. So I would just try them all out and see which ones you like the best. I'm just going to start off with the first one. So you just press that, and then down at the bottom is the intensity level. So it gets pretty strong quickly, so I wouldn't just sit there and start hitting right away even if you don't feel it. I would just kind of hit, make sure it comes on, then you feel a little bit, and then you can just start going a little bit more as you go. So I wouldn't go very fast because might not feel a whole lot. Now I can start feeling a little bit, but I really shouldn't be getting any contractions or movement. So as I go, I'm just starting to feel a little bit more. And so you can see there, now that started to make my big toe kind of move. So most likely it's not necessarily super high, but it's probably because I have one of the electrodes over the nerve, and that's just pushing, especially where the arch is, it might be getting that tendon, and so you can see that it's pulling it down. So what I would do is I would just take it back down so you can start over, and then that one that was contracting it, just take it and move it slightly over somewhere else so it's not quite getting that spot. So maybe right there, and then I would just go back into trying it. So if you are getting that muscle contraction, I would either take it back down, but then if you don't feel like it's very strong, then I would move the electrodes around a little bit. So now I can feel it again, and I'm not getting that contraction. So that's really what you want. And so you can change the time, and it's automatic, so you can set it for 10, 20, all the way up to 80, and then it'll automatically shut off when you're done. So that's really cool too. So with the TENS, you can also just do 2 electrodes or 1 channel. So I'm going to go ahead and take that off and show you. So let's say you have a lateral ankle sprain. So it's very specific. You're having a lot of pain on that outside area. And so you just want to get it on that specific spot to get that pain taken away. Well, you can definitely do that. That's pretty easy to do. So with just 2 electrodes or the 1 channel, if you're having the pain right in here, you can either go 1 on top and then 1 on the bottom here, or if that ends up catching some of those nerves and tendons, you can do it going this way. So you can go on the front here and then on the kind of back behind it there. So again, you might want to play around a little bit with the TENS. It doesn't specifically have to be exact, but you're just trying to get it. So now it's just going back and forth in that place. And when you have 2 electrodes versus 4, it's going to be stronger. So you might only have to hit 1. I'm already feeling it. It's not, painful, but I'm feeling it more than I was with the 4. So, again, I would start off slow. I wouldn't start going crazy with it. Just kind of see how it feels and how it goes. So for the EMS, the electrical muscle stimulation, if you're having some ankle pain, sometimes it's from weakness and sometimes it's because the muscles aren't activating. If you're having a hard time pulling your foot up, that's usually that anterior tibialis muscle. That's the one that pulls it into dorsiflexion, a little bit of eversion. So if I wanted to strengthen the muscle to help get some of that pain to get out of there because it might not be stable because of the weakness causing pain, I would put the electrodes on that anterior tibialis muscle. So if you're in the clinic, they might take a probe and really get those trigger points that they're going to do it. But again, you can kind of move it around until you get the spot that you want. But make sure when you're using this to talk to your healthcare professional, because there are some injuries where you wouldn't want to use this EMS or TENS unit. So make sure you're asking that it's okay, because there are certain things where you might not want to use it, or maybe if you have something like a pacemaker that's contraindicated or you're not supposed to use it for that. So the anterior tibialis muscle right here, I would then kind of put one up top here. The peroneal nerve kind of goes around the head of the fibula here, so sometimes if you get right on that, that's really going to activate it. But for now, I just want to get that muscle belly. So I'm going to put one about right here, and then I'm going to put one about right here. So on this unit, the 10 and 11 settings are the ones for the muscle stimulation. And I like it because the picture kind of shows a person lifting weights, which kind of indicates that you're trying to strengthen the muscles. So I really like that. So I'm going to click on that one, and then it starts moving so you know that it's clicked onto that one. So same kind of thing. Start off pretty slow because sometimes it takes a while to ramp up, so you might not feel it, but you really want to kind of go slow until you feel what's going on, and then try and get a contraction with it. So you want it to be very strong. You're wanting to get that muscle contraction. So this is not going to be a comfortable one. The electrical muscle stimulation is strong. It's uncomfortable. You might even go like this a little bit, but that's what you want because you want that contraction. So I'm just feeling it. I'm not quite getting a contraction yet. As I go, I'm going to keep going a little bit more, and it usually comes on and then it drops off. So you want to wait till you feel it come all the way up so you know how strong you're getting it. So for this one, I might not be quite on the right spot because there we go. See how it's starting? It's starting to go into that E version a little bit. So if I wanted to get some of that dorsiflexion too, when it's activating, when I feel it pulling, I'm going to come up and pull as well. So I probably have it a little bit more on the everters than the anterior tibialis. So what I would do, I'm actually going to take it all the way back down because you don't want to move it and then it pop right back up. So I'm just going to move it a little closer to the front, and this is what you might have to do. You might just have to move it around again. It's not going to be exact for everybody because everybody's muscles are in different spots. And so it's pretty easy just to move it and then start taking it back up. So once you start feeling that tingling, then keep going until you start getting that contraction in there. And depending on what muscle it is, you might have to go a little bit higher. So there we go. I'm starting to get it. You're starting to see my foot go. And then once it gets that contraction, then it's going to kind of drop off. So I always say go as much as you can tolerate. That's, pretty high. And then if that's as much as you can tolerate, try and go one more, because that's what's really going to kind of pull it up, and then relax. So you'll feel it be able to do that. Sometimes people will also say, well, how long should I be doing this? I wouldn't do a whole lot in the beginning because it's really going to work that muscle, especially if you haven't been able to do it a whole lot on your own without the assistance. You're going to fatigue that muscle out really quickly. So I would just start with 1 to 2 minutes to see how you feel, and you might be pretty sore afterwards. So again, it might take a little while for you to get to the right spot, but once you kind of know where it is, then you can get it to the right spot pretty quickly after that. So it's great here to get that strengthening, and then it's great with the TENS to kind of decrease that pain and increase the circulation, which is good for the healing in general. So if you're interested in purchasing the HealthMate Forever TENS EMS units, make sure and click on the link up there, and don't forget to subscribe by clicking down there. And remember, be safe, don't have it too high, have fun, and I hope you feel better soon.